So today we're going to be testing out a few settings here. We're going to be running the game at 40 frames per second on low, and then we're going to see if we could bump it up to about 60 frames running on certain settings here. We want to make sure that we give you the best options as far as how you can run the game. Of course, I have it running through a graphics card, so what you see here is a little bit stretched out. So of course, it's going to look a little bit better in your hands. So let's go ahead and check out the settings that we have right now. If we bring up the menu, right now we have things locked at 40 frames. We turned off half rate shading. Also the TDP, we turned that off as well. And everything's pretty much standard. If we go into the game settings here, we see that we are running the game on the lowest setting just to make sure that we conserve battery, but also make sure that we have a pretty steady frame rate while we're playing the game. This game, oddly enough, for it being the classic version, the OG version, it does happen to have a lot of busy moments and a lot of things going on. So just this is one of those instances where you want to make sure that you have less strain on the deck and conserve as much battery while still being able to enjoy what you're playing. So let's go ahead and check out some things here, see how it runs. As you can see, there I have everything here at the left of the screen. So you can see what's going on and you can see kind of like how the system is running. And let's go ahead and move through it a little bit. It seems to dip a little bit. As you can see there, it goes from 40 to 38, but pretty much it stays steady the entire time. Of course, you're not going to get the best textures and whatnot, but this is it's kind of one of those things. Every game will be different and your mileage may vary. Of course, you can go back in there and tweak certain things as well if you want, but this is pretty much what I found to be the most efficient way of running the game.
You don't even recognize me, do you, Ryder? You think you're God? Ugh. You think you can just make up stuff? Play with people's lives and kill them when you think it adds to the drama? You're in this story now, and I'll make you suffer.
As you see, you still do get some dips in frames. There's also some other things that come up in this game that are a little bit interesting. Maybe it could be just the way that I am recording it, but you do have some instances where the game has some ghosting and a couple of different other issues that you may end up seeing as we play the game. Of course, this game is still a great game and it's not going to take away in any way. Of course, that's for me. But this game, of course, being that it came out so many years ago, and this is not the remastered version, this is not the one that you can find on the Epic store. This is just the base. This is the original one that was released. So, of course, your mileage, like I said earlier, may vary. But for the most part, it still doesn't detract from the experience. It's still really enjoyable. And as you see, this is pretty much what you get, what you can expect if you're running on 40 frames, which is actually the sweet spot for a lot of games. There's a lot of games that run really well at 40 frames per second. And unless you've experienced it, you may think that it doesn't make any sense and it doesn't actually benefit you. It doesn't benefit the Steam Deck in a lot of ways and the games you're playing, but it really, really does. Playing at 40 frames actually is very enjoyable and still just as smooth. Of course, if it's not as smooth as it's going to be if you were to do 60 frames per second, but it's still smooth. Okay, now we went ahead and switched things up a little bit, and now we are running at 60 frames per second. Go ahead and show you guys here what we have everything set to. Of course, everything else pretty much basic, not adding anything else. And if we go into the game settings here, we'll see that we have, once again, low settings. This game is very, very intense as far as graphics concerned. So that's what I found was the best way to enable 60 frames per second. Also with VSync on, I believe that it actually improved and made it more stable. So this is pretty much what you're looking at as far as this game. It runs quite well. You do again get some dips. This game really, really is graphically intensive for some reason, regardless of all the textures and how it looks. Very, very graphically intense. But it's still a smooth 60 frames per second, and it doesn't dip as often as it does in 40 frames. So you still get a really, really solid experience throughout.
Turn your flashlight toward him and burn the darkness away.
still inside, controlling him. He can't be saved. He's still a threat. He is still your enemy. Here, take the gun.
Now you'll die.
Good. You've done well. Remember what I've taught you. That is all. I will give you back your dream now.
In the nightmare, a terrible darkness was taking over the world. The lighthouse was the last safe place on Earth.
So I'll go ahead and finish out the gameplay, just showing you what the game is like for a couple more minutes to give you an idea for those who are new to the game. And hopefully if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you would like to follow more Steam Deck coverage, please feel free to subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comment section. If you have any tips or have any other settings that you would like to add, or also if there's any other games that you'd like to see us cover, because we're going to cover pretty much, like I said, every single game in our Steam library from A to Z, just to give everybody a chance to hopefully find their favorite game running on the Steam Deck and how they can get it running. So until then, take care, guys. Peace.